Hi guys, this is skittflash here, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3 FES. In the last part, we were enjoying the last of our Tartarus list days. In this part, now that Mitsuru's back on the front line, and she's so reliable, and now that Fuka's our new, analyzer person, the game's sort of hinting that, we're going back into the swing of things. Which is fine. I mean, cool. Yeah, Tartarus, always fun to get out of the way, so we can do more social links, of course. But for now, we can actually still do social link stuff, and it would be. I'm gonna say right now, hang out with Yuko. This is, it's not even an option at this point. Because we had that phone call, we have enough social link points to actually rank up the next time when we talk to her. And because we have a date, if we don't talk to her, then we'll use date and phone call for one social link, thing, and that would just be useless. So hang out with her today, and that way you won't have enough points, and you can actually use the date for that. But I guess now she's training kids. I guess that's her secret passion, huh? Everyone has their thing, I guess. By all means. I can win. Isn't she just a lovely coach? Yeah, I guess she is. Apparently. Training, I guess you could say. Those kids are going to challenge the 6th graders soon. The winners get to use the playground. Why can't you just coexist? A formal letter. So what's your honest opinion? Can they win? Let's hope for the best. Yeah, I guess so. That's right. A coach has to believe in their team. Sure. Okay, right. After all, they learned from us. That's right. Aren't we just the best couple of teachers? One person who doesn't talk, and then, the actual teacher. But what's our strength social link now? I get the feeling we're actually going to be maxing out this soon. And my guess is, sort of off, but it's close enough. We'll be maxing out earlier than most of the other ones. Yes, we're becoming more intimate. Lovely. I should have asked you to write the challenge. Mine doesn't sound very impressive. I'll get embarrassed if the 6th graders laugh at it. Ouch. What grade are they in? They're like the equivalent of sophomores, I'm pretty sure. Or juniors. That makes more sense. But anyways, phone call. Could it be from one of our... Wait, we have a custom ringtone. Just for when Elizabeth calls. The change in Tartarus. The blocked area is now open. Lovely. Safe journey and whatnot. Okay, so that's cool. So now we can actually go into Tartarus, and we want to be doing that as quickly as possible. One thing I didn't realize is actually, there's not too many floors. Oh yeah, and Fuka's gonna be the one you actually talk to when you want to go to Tartarus now instead of Mitsuru. So yeah, let's just talk to Fuka. Oh, she's on her computer. I didn't realize that. I guess that's not too big of a deal, but that's actually a character trait. So yeah, let's actually go to Tartarus. I want to get this done out of the way as soon as possible. There's actually not that many floors in this set of Tartarus. There's 24, I think. There's only 2 mid-bosses, which totally tripped me up. So, if you can get through this very quickly, and then I'll tell you this, guys, right now. I consider this full moon boss to be actually particularly brutal. So, grinding even when you're done with Tartarus wouldn't actually be that bad of an idea. So I think I'll just dedicate one day just to grinding off screen, because honestly, geez, because I mean, like, at least that's not social link time, because those are 2 separate times. And now we can actually add Mitsuru to the party, but I won't do it because typically when party members actually join the party, they're actually a really high level. So I'm actually gonna just not use her to level up everybody else, assuming that Akihiko's a lower level, which he is. That's one thing I gotta say that I played, and like it's usually advised that you don't play this way, but I play this way anyways. Is that leveling up like all your party members equally rather than just setting up one dream team of people and using them. And Elizabeth has new requests, and I'm actually gonna take the ones that involve actually going through Tartarus as to kill 2 birds with one stone. Sort of. Doesn't work, but I like to think it does. Snake scales from glowing enemies. Just get 3 of them, and you get a shitload of money, so we want to do that. And then bronze figurines, dice on floors 41 through 46. At least they tell you exactly where they are. Did I not take that quest for the things? I hope I did. I'm supposed to be taking that snake request. I mean, I get it done, but I mean, I should be doing it now. Not really that it matters, seeing as how I don't actually fight snakes because I'm a wuss. But, yeah, as I was saying, I like to level up party members equally in pretty much any RPG I play. And that can be, like, you know, horrible, because then it turns out that, like, you just have a bunch of mediocre party members, and it'd be better just to, like, you know, invest on one set of people that you know you're going to use. But at the same time, I feel like in this game, at least, like, up until the very end of this game, is that, it's actually a good idea to level up everyone. Because, like, you know how this game, like, uses, you know, uses the elemental system, like, so strongly, and you need to have, like, you know, party members that can exploit weaknesses that, like, to actually make use of them. So, like, let's say if I never ever used Akihiko, no, that's not a good example. If I never ever used Yukari, which, I want to say right now would kind of be stupid because she's, like, our main healer, but if I never did use Yukari, and then all of a sudden I battled with, like, you know, an enemy that was weak to Garu, I'd have one less Garu user and one less person resistant to Garu, and then I'd have a tough time. Sort of like my tough time with these frickin' beetles. They take too long to kill, I'll tell you this right now. And for the amount of experience they give, I'd almost say they're not worth it. So yeah, we're gonna go through these floors of Tartarus. I'll tell you right now that, you know, once I actually have good personas, which I don't, these guys are much quicker than I make them out to be. But that's fine, you know, I gotta show you my first trek up Tartarus, seeing as I'll be skipping most of it anyways. Even though we took a request to actually hunt for dice, I didn't find a single die in my entire trek up here. So I just had to grind off screen until I got them. But I'll do that later. Let's stick to the task at hand. And what was the task at hand right now? It was a tangent I was on. Now what was the tangent I was on? Yeah, that's right. You want to level up everyone equally as of now, just because, like, you know, exploiting weaknesses is so important. Later in the game, I will say that bosses they sort of stop becoming weak to anything. So at that point in time, it's just free game. You actually have to use, like, you know, advanced RPG strategy, I guess you could call it, which I love. I honestly do say that this game is very strategic, and when you are playing smart, which I only do like 10% of the time, it's a really fun experience. But hopefully, it's always funny when you're battling like a single enemy and all-out attacks sort of just become like less interesting, just because of how often you're doing them. Like, we had to all-out attack this guy like 5 times, and he is still not dead. It sort of just becomes awkward because this is supposed to be like a finishing move that just kills everyone, and this is our like 5th thing. Ooh, power charge. If an enemy uses power charge, you can almost guarantee that the next person he's gonna attack will die. So it's a good thing he's dead. I really want power charge. Once I get power charge and mind charge, that is like one of my those two are like my favorite moves in the game. I'll tell you guys right now. But I'll get to that when we get to that. Typically, we don't learn that until quite a while. But I will say that's where the strategy comes in, sort of. If you can go just like mind charging every turn strategy. Or every other turn, rather. Another thing I realize is I lost my persona. I lost any persona with a Raccoonda ability. Which is kind of disappointing because, you know, Raccoonda is a very good thing to have for bosses, and I don't have any of it. I mean, obviously for enemies, I'd never use Raccoonda because that's just weird, unless they're really, really kicking my ass. But they're not. But yeah, just keep in mind, I want a persona with Raccoonda. And I don't think I'll actually be getting any, I don't think I'll ever be, ooh, Counter-Strike. Awesome. Yeah, the Zochoshiten has that ability where, you know, you have like a 25% chance of countering an ability if you're not knocked down. And if you are knocked down, well then just add insult to injury because that no longer applies. I'm not sure if that's actually, if Counter-Strike is actually, if it still works if you're not equipped with Zochoshiten. Because, like, for some reason, I've noticed that some abilities, like, even if you don't have that persona equipped, you still retain that ability. Or maybe I'm just tripping. Like, I feel like the dodge abilities, like, if a persona has, like, dodge electric, and you have a different persona on who didn't have dodge electric, you might still retain those dodge electric properties. Although I might just be tripping. The same thing goes for Auto Tarukaja. I don't know, honestly. That'd be something I have to look up on. What abilities work even when you don't have that persona equipped on hand. I think I've already shown that gimmick with the shuffle time when everything goes off screen. It's complicated at first, but the basic rule that it always follows is the first one up is the first one down, the second one up is the second one down, and so on and so on. But yeah, what was I saying before? I completely forgot. First of all, we're going to be skipping floors, and we're going to be get some money. Honestly, get a lot of money, because we're going to be like, you know, we're going to be we're going to be trying to finish Tartarus as soon as possible, and then once we finish it, we won't be going back. So you pretty much want to make money, enough money to, you know, fuel your vast spending for, like, you know, the next month, basically. So, yeah. Sky balances. At least I actually know the weakness to these guys, you know. Resistant to electric and wind, and weak to fire and ice. So I love these guys, because I know them. At least in Persona 3. In Persona 4, like, you know, the whole gimmick with sky balance and heat balance is that they're, like, you know, is their weaknesses and resistances. But in Persona 4, it's like, ha, nope, they're just resistant to everything, so screw you. And it was baffling, I'll be honest. But that's a totally different game. Not totally different, they're very similar, but, you know, different game, different properties. These guys, I don't like, no matter how easy or hard these are, whenever I see cloaked figures, because you will see a lot of recolors in this game of enemies, which is, like, you know, which is fine. But I always get scared when I see these guys, because typically they know very, very fatal attacks. Speaking of which, recolors, I was talking to my friend about this, and, like, I was confused, but it makes a lot of sense that typically in Shin Megami Tensei games, there are never any recolors of enemies. But in this one there is, and, like, the reason why there wouldn't be recolors in Shin Megami Tensei games is because, like Pokemon, you kind of use the demons that you fight. So, you know, you have to have a bunch of different demons, and then, like, you know, there wouldn't need to be recolors because you have such a variety. Like, there would never be a recolor in Pokemon, where it's like, oh, it's a different Bulbasaur. I guess you could technically call that evolution, but how do you like the new Miyukari? The new clothed you? It's fantastic. But yeah, I guess you can, there's not really anything. But, like, in this game, because you're not actually fighting personas, yeah, because you're not actually fighting personas in dungeons, you know, of course there's going to be recolors, because that's just standard RPG fare. But yeah, I always just found that interesting, how the games operate. I'm surprised I pick up Chimera. Why did I do that? I guess for fusion fodder, because I do want to fuse a better persona, because if I actually knew personas with the actually proper spells that actually knock these enemies down, I'd actually not be having a problem. I mean, I do have the proper spells, but, you know, they're just weak personas. I'd like stronger personas. That's what I wanted to talk about. Is the fact that, I'm just going to actually do some cutting right now because nothing really more happens besides I fight one more set of enemies that I haven't fought just yet. So I skipped the floors if you haven't noticed. Because I won't be finding a persona with Raccoonda just yet, what I might just do is actually fuse, call Jack Frost back into my, like, you know, list of personas, and actually fuse him, and just keep on inheriting the skill, was it Raccoonda? I think it was Raccoonda. No, Raccoonda, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'll fuse a Jack Frost into something stronger and make sure he has Raccoonda, and fuse that persona into something stronger and make sure it has Raccoonda, until I actually have, like, you know, a decent persona that knows Raccoonda, because obviously, when it comes to fighting bosses, you want Raccoonda. Is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, because Rakukaja is the defense one. Honestly, the names are so hard to figure out when you're first playing this game. So this is an interesting enemy setup. It's a guy like this. It's a small guy and a big guy to screw you over, to do the attacking. Typically the small ones are support. You actually see this kind of combination a lot. What a specific combination that will screw you over later in the game is when those little guys actually know Enrage, and they'll actually purposely enrage their partner, so they do a ton of damage and screws you over. As much as like, I don't talk about the status effect or Enrage, but it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes I actually do consider, like, you know, being enraged good, and at the same time it's kind of horrible. And likewise, sometimes I consider enraging enemies good, and at the same time very horrible. Basically, it means you're it's just like normal standard RPG fare Berserk. You're restricted to using only physical abilities, but you get to attack twice, and you do much more damage. The catch is that besides being only limited to physical abilities, and that means if they're resistant, you're kind of clipped, because you can't control yourself. But also, it means that, like, you know, for example, But your defense is also much, much lower. And with that, I just cut to floor 47 because we didn't really do much in the next all set of floors. We didn't come into any new enemies. I did level up, just to note that, because level ups are so valuable as of right now. But then the next part, we'll be fighting the floor mini-boss. But until then, this has been Skitflash. Hope you enjoyed watching. Bye!